Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Moto Mengy on this beautiful, cloudy, breezy, 38-degree January winter day. And it's a little cold out, but it's above freezing, so I'm riding. Today I'd like to talk about Harley Davidson's 2021 new model year reveal event. And a little more specifically, Harley's changes for 2021 versus Honda's changes for 2021. So January 19th, Harley had their reveal event for the 2021 Harley Davidson changes. And there are lots of videos on YouTube going over all the details. Channels like Gears and Gadgets, the Moto John, Moto Bob, a whole bunch of them. Riding in the Ozarks. Blockhead even did it, I think. They all go over the changes really well. What I'm going to do is give my impression of the changes for Harley Davidson for 2021. And then I'm going to give my impressions of Honda's changes for the new year 2021 and how they compare to what Harley Davidson has done. Now, I watched the live event for Harley Davidson for 2021, and I gotta say I was rather underwhelmed. Actually, I was very underwhelmed. I didn't expect a whole lot from Harley for this year, but I did expect something more than what they offered. The general summary is they cut like 5 models from the lineup. They cut the Sportsters down to 3 models. They got rid of the hydraulic clutch on the touring bikes and went back to a cable clutch across the line. Now the clutch, you know, I don't know why they got rid of the hydraulic clutch. My 2016 had a hydraulic clutch. And I kind of like the hydraulic clutch, to be honest. I thought it was better than the cable clutches. But for some reason, Harley got rid of it. It's probably a cost savings measure, I'm guessing. That's okay. I rode cable clutches on Harleys for decades. Never had a problem with them. Yeah, you gotta adjust them once in a while. No big deal. They're easy to adjust. Other changes for Harley this year. It's not much, to be truthful. That's about it, other than new colors like they have every year. And the colors for 2021, they're not too many good ones. They're a little drab, a little boring, especially on the touring line. On the cruiser line, they have a little bit better color selection, but for the touring bikes, not so much. Unless you're buying a CVO. And that brings me to another change. There was an awful big focus on CVOs in the Harley reveal event. Like, I get the impression they're going to push CVOs in a big way going forward. They even mentioned something about an enthusiast line, a very rare one-off maybe, Harley models being offered. So I don't know if this enthusiast line of Harleys is going to be even more pricey than CVOs, or less pricey, or about the same. Different versions of CVOs. They didn't really give any details other than they're coming, whatever they are. But they mentioned CVOs a lot. I don't like that so much. I don't know anyone personally who's ever bought a CVO Harley Davidson. No one can afford them. They're so expensive. I mean, 40 to 50 grand for a motorcycle is a lot of money that the majority of riders just can't afford, or don't want to afford either. It's a lot for a secondary vehicle. I wonder if Harley is starting to cater to the rich riders and not so much the common riders anymore. And in my opinion, that's what made Harley great. They were a motorcycle for the American blue-collar worker, common workers. Doesn't sound like they're going that way anymore. But that's pretty much it for the Harley reveal. The whole video was a lot of marketing talk and fluff and Harley stories. I don't care about Harley stories. What I want are improvements to the lineup. I want better value for the premium prices Harley is charging. So yeah, there's a lot of marketing talk. And maybe they did that because they don't have a lot to talk about this year otherwise. I mean, there weren't many changes. So maybe their only option was to go the marketing route, the high production value route. So maybe Harley did the best they can, which is, you know, a shame, unfortunate. But maybe that's just what it was. Now, I've been riding Harleys. I mean, I'm on a Honda Goldwing now, so I'm not riding Harleys right now. But for most of my life, I've been on Harleys. And every year, I look forward to the new model reveals to see what colors they were going to offer, to see what changes there were to the bike lineup. And I still get excited for Harley reveals. And I was excited for this one too. Unfortunately, it was a letdown. Even if there aren't a lot of improvements or changes, the colors are always nice to see what they offer, because Harley changes their colors every year. And Harley paint and finish is some of the best in the industry, if not the best in the industry. So most years they have some really nice color options available. But now that I ride a Honda Goldwing for the past 2 years, I've been paying a lot more attention to what other brands are doing from year to year. So what I'm going to do now is compare Harley's reveal to Honda's 2021 reveal for this year. Now that I'm on a Goldwing, I follow Honda a little more closely. Out of curiosity, I mean, I'm not planning on buying another bike anytime soon. If I buy another bike, it'll be a second bike next to this one, not in place of it. I'm not getting rid of this Goldwing for a long time. But speaking of Goldwings, Honda made some nice changes to this model, to the new Goldwing for 2021. They actually increased the trunk size. I'm a little surprised at that, but that was like one of the biggest complaints of this new generation Goldwing, was that the trunk was just too small. Pretty much everyone agreed that was a problem. And I've gotten used to it. It's a lot smaller than what my Road Glide's trunks were. And would I prefer to have a larger trunk? Yeah, sure, I would, but I'm fine with this one now. And while a larger trunk of the 2021 isn't enough to get me to trade up for a new Goldwing, I gotta give Honda credit. They listen to the people. They listen to the customers, and they redesigned the trunk and improved its size, because it's not a small job. I mean, you gotta change all the molds and tooling to produce it and everything, so I really didn't expect Honda to touch the trunk at all anytime soon. But they did. So kudos to Honda for that. Well done. And they've also changed a few other small things around the Goldwing, just small improvements. Because there's not a lot wrong with this bike. It was pretty much dialed in from the get-go back in 2018. But every year Honda does make little iterations to improve this bike. And it's been nice. It's been strange. It's been interesting seeing that compared to what Harley's done these past couple of years. Because Harley seems to be going backwards more than forwards in some regards. They lost the heel toe shifters. They dropped the hydraulic clutch for the cable clutch. They keep raising prices. Keep taking off trim. The street glides now come with different crash bars. So you can't just put lowers on the street glides anymore. You got to change the crash bar first, then put the lowers on if you want to. A lot of cost cuttings and savings for Harley over the last few years, whereas Honda is actually improving their bikes. Well, let's go this way. Also with Honda, they redesigned the Grom. It's a very popular little small bike that sells very well, but they went and gave it a facelift and did a lot of updates to it and changed it. For Europe, Honda went and redid all the exhausts for their small CC bikes, so they were all Europe emissions compliant. Whereas, consequently, Harley last year, this year, has stopped selling Sportsters in Europe because the Sportsters don't meet European emissions anymore. And Harley decided rather than improve the Sportster to meet emissions, they just stopped selling them in Europe. So that's one way to solve the emissions problem, I guess, but it's not going to help us sell more motorcycles. Just the opposite. And speaking of the Sportsters being removed from Europe and the Sportster lineup down to 3 models, the other thing Honda did that's awesome, they made an 1100cc Rebel. Now the Honda Rebel is a classic beginner bike, always spin small CCs. A lot of women ride Honda Rebels. There's nothing wrong with that. They're a great beginner bike. They're small, they're lightweight, they're easy to handle. They're fun, I've ridden lots of them. Honda Rebels are good bikes. But Honda's now introducing an 1100cc Rebel that's really pretty sharp. It's at an awesome price point, like 10 grand for, you know, a Honda Sportster, more or less. And it has the DCT option, the same DCT that this bike comes with, the automatic transmission. So I've got a feeling that that little Rebel is going to sell like hotcakes. I mean, it's basically aiming directly for the Sportster lineup, only with Honda quality and Honda performance and a DCT to boot. And that's kind of the big difference between the changes they've seen with Honda and Harley conversely between each other over the past few years. Honda seems to iterate and improve and make changes to expand their market share, whereas Harley seems to be in a retreat mode. They're contracting, they're cutting costs, they're cutting features, they're pooling models, they're canceling models. Harley seems to be all about cost cutting and improving the bottom line, whereas Honda seems to be about increasing market share and increasing sales rather than pulling back on them. And that's really what I've seen in the new 2021 model reveals, both between Harley and Honda. Harley seems to be retreat mode, while Honda seems to be expand and attack mode, for lack of a better way of saying it. And that bothers me, because I want Harley to do better. I want Harley to succeed. I want Harley to sell more bikes. I want them to reverse their declining sales trend, turn it around, turn their frown upside down into a smile, you know? Oh, deer across the road. Oh my God, it's a herd. All right, anyone else coming? Welcome to Pennsylvania. Watch out for the deer on the road. Even at 12:30 in the afternoon. I hear a low-flying helicopter. Wow, look at that chopper, holy shit. What are you doing, dude? I wonder if the GoPro caught that. I don't know, it looks like they're searching for something. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I could have pulled over there. Ah well. This is a motovlog, not a helicopter log. I don't know what they're doing, but I'll leave them to do their thing. Back on the topic of this video, in my opinion, Harley's 2021 model reveal sucked. That's all I gotta say. That's the short version of the whole video. Harley's new model year reveal sucked, while Honda didn't have a new big fancy live event type thing. Their changes for 2021 were actually very promising, very good, very optimistic, very value added. Now Harley has the new adventure bike, the Pan America, coming out in February. That's next month. That's the bike I've been waiting 4 years to see. You still don't know what it weighs or what it costs. But I'm really hoping Harley knocks the Pan America out of the park. I hope they come in with a lightweight bike with a very compelling price point. In my opinion, it has to be about 500 pounds or less, and it has to be under $20,000 in order to really succeed. I'm gonna go back and see the helicopter still hovering there. I'm curious. That chopper's still hovering here. I can hear him. Dude, man. That's some cool flying. I wonder what he's up to. I hear him, I don't see him. He's flying away now. Oh wow, that was cool. I love helicopters. But I love aviation in general, so not just helicopters, airplanes, everything. Alright, so once again, back on topic. Now, hopefully 2021 was simply a consolidation year for Harley. I really hope they have more in the works behind the scenes that they just aren't ready to reveal or talk about yet. I hope this was a year just to get their shit together. And I hope 2022 for Harley is a big year. Because they need it. They need a big year. They need a lot of changes. They need improvements. They need to rethink the whole mentality, the whole corporate mentality. I'm hoping the reason they're down to 3 Sportsters is because they're going to redesign the Sportster lineup. I hope they're going to put that new, well, the engine going in the Pan America, the new Revolution engine, the fully water-cooled motor. I hope that's going in the Sportster lineup. Or at least some version of the Sportster lineup, because the Sportsters could use a more modern, performance-oriented engine. I mean, they're still using Evolution engines, for God's sakes. And while I love the Evolution engine, it's been around since the 80s. Literally. That motor, I first bought my 93 lowrider was Evolution. That was a 1993, but they came out in like 85 or 86, something like that. It's time to retire the Evolution engine. That's long in the tooth. And now that they have that Revolution engine that's fully water-cooled and more power at a smaller displacement, yeah, that could go in the Sportster lineup. Redesign the Sportster frame to be more performance-oriented and competitive with other brands, and they'd sell a ton of them. I hope they're doing it. I also want to see some modern changes to the touring lineup too. Put that Revolution engine in a Rogue Glide Ultra. Maybe even put the Softail frame on the Rogue Glide Ultras, or the touring, you know, all the touring bikes. Give them a monoshock rare monoshock frame. Reduce the frame weight. Put in the fully water-cooled engine. Give the Rogue Glides a windshield that goes up and down electronically. So it's time for Harley to start making some changes, and I hope they do it next year. They didn't do it this year. 2021 was a bust, sadly. Whereas Honda did pretty good this year. And if Harley doesn't change their ways soon, they're going to keep losing market share while their competitors start taking their market share away. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, they're all going to keep growing and getting bigger while Harley gets smaller. And I don't want to see that. So that's my take on the Harley 2021 reveal and the Honda 2021 reveal, and how I thought they compared to each other. What my feelings on both were. Leave any comments down below. Let me know how you thought of the Harley reveal or the Honda changes. So thanks for watching, everyone. Stay warm during this winter. Keep the wheels side down. Ride safe. See you next time.